Guys, welcome to a classic Christmas movie review of 1992's The Muppets Christmas Carol, starring, of course, Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, the Great Gonzo, Fozzie Bear, and Sir Michael Caine. One of the finest and most heartwarming adaptations of Charles Dickens' beloved novella, A Christmas Carol. This was released in 1992, and it's a film that successfully blends humour, music, and Muppet shenanigans, all whilst remaining quite faithful to the spirit of Dickens' original tale. Now, of course, this story has been adapted possibly hundreds of times at this point, but what sets this version apart from other adaptations is obviously the unique use of the Muppets, who, as always, bring their signature charm and wit to the material. Now, The Muppets Christmas Carol was directed by Brian Henson, son of the late, great Jim Henson, and has become a staple of the Christmas movie viewing period, certainly in the Real Classic Film Reviews household, so let's take a look.
If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be cooked with his own turkey and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. Nephew, you keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
So yeah, I know you know the story of A Christmas Carol, but pretend that you don't just for a few minutes whilst I tell you that the story follows Ebenezer Scrooge, played here by a game Michael Caine. He's a miserly, cold-hearted old man who is visited by three ghosts of Christmas past, present, and yet to come. And through these spooky visitors, Scrooge is shown the error of his ways, leading him to rediscover the true meaning of Christmas. However, unlike many of the more traditional adaptations that you may have read or seen, this version injects a sense of zany fun, light-heartedness, and, of course, toe-tapping musical numbers, and includes the Muppets in various roles. Now, this allows the overall message of the original story to be delivered, but also provides plenty of comic relief moments, making it a perfect family movie and accessible to viewers of all ages.
Nothing.
You wish to remain anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. I do not make merry myself at Christmas,
That certainly is true.
and I cannot afford to make idle people merry.
That is certainly not true.
So what I always love about this adaptation is that here we have Gonzo the Great taking on the role of Charles Dickens himself, providing a funny and fourth wall breaking commentary throughout. His sidekick Rizzo the Rat provides the real comic relief, which seems strange to say because 90% of the cast is effectively comic relief here, but he gets an extra dollop of sarcastic, witty one-liners and slapstick.
Hey, light the lamp, not the rat, light the lamp, not the rat.
My
What are you
apologies.
doing? Put me out, 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 put me out. What?
Now, considering the Christmas Carol novel and the Muppets are separated by over 100 years and couldn't be more different, they are in fact a great fit for the material. It shouldn't really make sense, but it does. The casting of the Muppets as characters from the classic tale is cleverly done for me, and one of the film's most enjoyable aspects. Michael Caine, bless him, he's a good sport here, brings his dramatic chops and makes a commendable Ebenezer Scrooge. He's no Alistair Sim, who is still my personal favourite Scrooge, but he does perfectly capture that character's transition from miserly, cold-hearted villain to warm, generous man by the film's end.
Spirit, I know what I must ask. I fear to, but I must. Who was the wretched man whose death brought so much glee and happiness to others?
Now, fair play to him, as the more I re-watch this movie, the more I keep my eye on Michael Caine, and his ability to react to the Muppets' antics without breaking character is spot on here. Now, the Muppets, in turn, fully embrace their roles, and of course, when I say Muppets, I have to mention Dave Gales, Steve Whitmire and Frank Oz, and of course, a host of other puppeteers and voice actors that bring them to life, and make sure that their Muppet characters perfectly sync up with the Dickens creations. Kermit the Frog is perfect for Bob Cratchit, the long-suffering but kind-hearted employee for Scrooge. He makes Cratchit an easy character to root for, and of course, you have to have Miss Piggy playing Mrs. Cratchit, Kermit's wife, stirring in a dollop of over-the-top dramatics and comedy to the admittedly down-in-the-dumps part of their story.
Merry Christmas, Emily.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Cratchit.
And me.
Now, in this adaptation, as in the Dickens text, the Cratchit family's dynamic is the heart of the film. The Cratchits are an example of the resilient family struggling to make ends meet, as many families were in Victorian London, I'm assuming. Certainly here under the oppressive weight of Scrooge's greed. Anyway, of course, the Cratchits' youngest child, Tiny Tim, and his debilitating and ultimately fatal illness is the catalyst for Scrooge's eventual change of tune. Now, there are too many characters to mention here, but I do have to shout out the Muppets who play the three Christmas ghosts. The ghost of Christmas past is portrayed by a golden spirit-like Muppet who always freaked me out a bit as a kid for some reason, and who whisks Scrooge into his past, offering glimpses of his childhood, his youth and his early adulthood. The Ghost of Christmas Present is this huge, larger-than-life Muppet who absolutely loves Christmas and the season of goodwill, and who in turn urges Scrooge to embrace the spirit of the season. And of course, the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, who is a creepy, silent figure who forces Scrooge to confront the fatal consequences of his actions. Even in Muppet form, this feels like pretty powerful stuff.
Oh, Spirit, please speak to me.
Now, of course, the Muppet Christmas Carol is a musical, so if that's not your thing, and you're already struggling with colourful puppets, maybe this just isn't for you. Now, mostly for copyright reasons, I won't be reviewing the music fully here. Suffice to say the soundtrack is top tier, and you'll be humming several of these tunes long after the credits have rolled. Now, this was the fourth Muppet movie, followed by Muppet Treasure Island in 96, Muppets from Space in 99, The Muppets in 2011, and Muppets Most Wanted in 2014. Don't think I've seen that one. And I think this is probably my personal favourite from the ones that I have seen. I love the Dickensian vibe. The production here, though, fantastic, but all filmed in Shepperton Studios here in the UK. So at its core, A Christmas Carol is a story about redemption and the transformative powers of compassion. Scrooge's journey does strike a bit of a nerve for anyone who's maybe not feeling it at this time of year, and there's of course lessons in there about the true meaning of Christmas. And although this is much more than a kids' movie, it's still a great bit of entry-level entertainment to introduce younger viewers to one of the works of Charles Dickens. Now, I am a fan of the Muppets. I grew up watching reruns of The Muppet Show and Sesame Street, but I'd argue that you don't have to be a fan of them to enjoy this. I think if you're in the market for a good old-fashioned, heartwarming Christmas story, The Muppet Christmas Carol is right up there with some of the best festive films ever made. Go check it out.
Now, come on, I'll catch you.
God save my little broken body.
Missed.